It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Hello, everyone. Another great day to talk hockey. Every day is a great day to talk hockey. I took a look at a couple of videos on Logan Sawyer, Montreal Canadiens third round pick in 2023. He's leading Providence in scoring this year, which is impressive for a sophomore. I was talking to a scout tonight. I remember back in his draft year, I had seen him play, not coincidentally, in the World Junior A Challenge that year. He was on the Brooks Bandits that season, the AJHL, and then they switched over to the BCHL. But he played a game against Sweden, which kind of, to be honest with you, kind of blew me away. He was fantastic in that game. I think he had 2 or 3 points. He was the best player on the ice. And of course, Sweden had players that were touted to be first-round picks and second-round picks. And here was this kid on Canada West who was the best player on the ice that night. Showed some really good offensive flair. Was just seemed to have the puck almost the entire night. I thought he was plenty quick that night, but all the scouts that I talked to in the upcoming weeks and who were at that tournament said, "Oh, his skating was terrible." And I'm no expert, and especially when you're watching on video, you can only see so much. But certainly in that game, I didn't think, he was plenty quick. Sometimes, especially NHL scouts, they like to focus on the technique, and as I've watched him more and kept a closer eye on him since those comments from my friends in the scouting business, having still never seen him live yet, but he's not. There are flaws in his technique, and he's by no means got great edges or explosiveness. Maybe first 3 steps aren't great, but he moves his feet. He's always determination, quick feet. He's quick. Maybe he's not explosive. Maybe his technique sucks to a certain degree, but he gets there, even if it's not pretty. And that, as one scout said to me tonight, as long as you're efficient, right? So, he's gone into Providence, which is a pretty good. They're usually a top 15 ranked team, or top 20 anyway, and sometimes top 10. One of the better college teams, and he's, let's have a look here. Second year, he had 16 points last year, which, as a freshman coming out of the BCHL, that's decent. But this year, he's almost a point per game so far, 14 points in 16 games, which is leading his team. So that's impressive. And I know friend of the show who hopefully will be on Wednesday. He was at the World Junior A Challenge, as was Rick. I forgot to ask Rick about some players yesterday, and we'll next time Rick's on. We ran out of time, and I ended up not asking him about players, but I'll ask him about a few of the players that stood out for him at the World Junior A Challenge that he was at. But same thing with Simo on Wednesday if he comes on. But Simo really likes him and thinks that he's got good potential. And hey, based on what I saw at the World Junior A Challenge that year, and then in subsequent games in both the AJHL and BCHL, I liked his offensive tools. He's a smart player, good stick handler, good playmaker. sees the ice well, makes plays. So like he can create offense. I don't mind Logan Sawyer. Like, when you get into the third round, if you can get a guy that, even has decent top nine potential, that's a decent, it's worth taking a flyer on him. Will his skating have to keep continuing to get better? Yeah, it will. But I've got two games here I'm going to show you, and we'll have a look at his skating and his game, and weigh in. Tell me what you think, and I'll do the same. Hopefully, I don't get flagged by YouTube. I put up a video on Gavin McKenna that got flagged the other day, like ridiculous, or today actually. For some reason, even college games now are getting copyright claims. So I've disputed it, and we'll see what happens with that. But I really hope that now all the college games don't start getting flagged for copyright, because then I don't get, then the monetization goes out the window, right? Which kind of would suck for me. It's a lot of work for nothing. Got a live chat question of the day, and we'll get into this. We'll talk about the Habs after for a bit, and I'll get to some live chat answers and questions and comments. But who starts in net tomorrow night for the Habs against Philly? Who would you start? Does Jack-Eye come back in, Struble out, or Engstrom out, Jack-Eye in, or same lineup? Just give me your thoughts on those two things, and we'll discuss it after I'm finished looking at Logan Sawyer here. All right, we'll start with his game versus Brown this past weekend. And by the way, just it's Brown University, and I just want to mention that it's horrible what happened there. Since this game, and the shooting, and the shootings that continue all the time. Australia, that was horrible earlier in the week. Horrible what happened at Brown University, and my condolences to anyone that was affected by that tragedy this past week. But here he is versus Brown University. And you'll notice that he's in black here, obviously number 34. And we'll just let her roll for a while here and see. As you can see, his feet are quick. Like he moves he's always moving his feet. I mean, he does the 10-2 there. It's not, it's maybe he's knock-kneed, I'd say. And that scouts don't like that, the knock-kneed thing. But he gets there, right? It ain't pretty, but he's got quick feet. So, Steve Shutt was an ugly skater, but those legs moved a mile a minute, and he did okay in the NHL. Sometimes it's just, anyway, there was a nice move right there. But you can see, like, he's got good puck skills. He knows how to he's got good ability to deke. He's poised with the puck. He's smart with it. He makes there's just another example of he's pretty skilled and smart. He makes it was a little risky, but it was the right play. There was his assist. We back that up just a bit. We'll have another look at it here. He was at the side of the net, power play. He's pretty effective on the power play because he's smart, puck mover. Secondary assist for him in this game. That was his point that he got versus Brown. But as you can see here, he's a staple on the first power play. Pretty good, good vision, good playmaker. I think. I mean, he can score goals, but his playmaking is his forte. And here again, see, like his edges aren't great, but he's smart, and he evades checkers with his smarts more than anything, really. Here he is again. He comes out to the blue line, kept it in. Again, not pretty, but he keeps moving his feet. I don't mind. He won't be an above average skater at the NHL level, and that may be what keeps him out eventually. But I think what bothers scouts with guys with poor technique is that you can only improve it so much, and there he was on for a goal against. So much more, and while you can get away with it, and here if you see, I'll just back it up a bit. You see, like he's flailing quite a bit here. The 10-2 is happening, but he's moving his feet fast, like So yeah, it ain't pretty, but at the same time, he beats guys up the ice, right? I mean, Wayne Gretzky was an ugly skater, but he did okay. Not saying this kid's Wayne Gretzky, just as a point of reference. And there again, he's good at handling the puck. There was a nice pass, almost hit the guy at the side of the net. But you can see, in these highlights from the game, he had quite a few offensive chances. Again, there you see, good stick handler, good at protecting the puck. So you don't mind his offensive skills. That's certainly the his bread and butter. Can't say I saw a lot in this game from him defensively. So that'll be, will he be able to carve out a top 6 role in the NHL? Probably not. With with that skating, you're probably hoping that he can maybe vie for a third line spot someday. But if that ends up being the case, he'll have to, he'll have to be good away from the puck and good defensively. So don't be expecting him to jump into Montreal's lineup next year on the third line or anything like that. He's a few years away, it's fair to say, from challenging for a spot. But as I mean, Brown isn't a powerhouse, so him having a half decent offensive game against him, I mean, you don't get too excited about it, but at the same time, you want to see, you want to see some offense from him, some upside, and I did in that game. He's a smart player. Every time I watched him, that's what you see. You see that he's got good puck skills. He sees the ice well, makes a lot of plays, and is good stick handler. Got one more game here to look at. This is against UMass. A little, they're no powerhouses here either, but little higher ranked as a rule than Brown is. And this is from a couple weeks ago. Again, he's 34 in black. And you see, he's got the wide turns. Like he's not, turns like a battleship, as the scouting saying goes sometimes. But you don't see a lot of stops and starts from him either. There he is trying to get back into play. In this game, you noticed a little more that the skating is a bit more problematic, but he does get scoring chances every game because of his hockey IQ and his puck skills. This game, unfortunately, camera's a little further back, but hopefully you can see it okay. He works fairly hard. Like, I don't mind his work ethic, and that can compensate for skating at times too, because he does. He's not doing too much coasting out there. I like that. I like that in his game. And you can see here he took a penalty for that one. I mean, I didn't mind sort of didn't mind that, if you know what I mean, except for the penalty part. It's showing a little bit of spunk. I wouldn't call him physical though. And there he won the puck battle, which I like. And again, his turns are pretty. Put it this way, he doesn't have great edges. He's not Nick Ehlers out there, but he is 6'1", 6'1.5". But you see there, like 10-2. The technique is not great. He'll never become that's what you worry about, just how much more will his skating improve. But I saw him at development camp a couple of years ago, and he was pretty skinny. He's got to keep getting stronger, and as he does, you hope that there'll still be room for him to grow as a skater. There you see him coming off at the end of a shift again. Yeah, Lemieux and Gretzky were pretty good. Gretzky wasn't a good skater. No, he wasn't. He skated like he had a piano on his back half the time, but he got there. You didn't catch him on breakaways too often, but good skater, that wouldn't have been what he was. Mario, yeah, for his size. Here he got a shot on net. UMass a little better team, and he's not didn't get near as many offensive opportunities as he did against Brown, and that's to be expected. Brown's not a powerhouse. There he got a good chance. Didn't put it in. He was a little perturbed about that. Here he is on the forecheck. And again, he's pretty good at fishing out pucks. Decent stick along the boards. But again, it's not skating will never be his forte. And I do get what the scouts are saying, but and it's the reason why he went in the third round. Obviously, he put up good stats his junior year, but again, too, it was tier 2 junior. It's expected. Mind you, he didn't put up nearly as good stats in the BCHL as he had in the AJHL, but again, that's no surprise because it was a step up in competition. But you like that he's come to a good division in hockey. And there you see he, again, not pretty, but he beat the player to the net. So I like his hustle. Quick feet and determination can make up for technique in some regards. He has the right idea there. That was a smart move, but again, not crisp edges, and then he fell down. So it's too bad. If his skating was a little better, he'd be a really good prospect, because he's got like I say, he's got some nice offensive tools, good size. There was his goal. He managed to score one. So at the end, so he had a goal in this game. He had an assist in the other game. he looks like a good AHL prospect. Like he'll play. Presumably, the Habs will sign him probably after next year or maybe after his senior year. Can't see them signing him now after this year. And he's got enough skill, smarts to be a decent AHL player. I think. Will he play for the Habs? I'd say it's a long shot at this point. I wouldn't say he's a top 10 prospect in the organization. Um, you know, Canadians have a good young group, good young core, and like there's a good bunch of under 25 players already on the team, and there's some good ones coming who are ahead of him on the depth chart. And certain players like Tyler Thorpe, for instance, Florian Jacki, they were picked later than him in the draft, but they bring some elements that I don't think necessarily would have in your bottom six that make them a little more attractive at this point as far as future, perhaps being able to win spots. Like he's not in Hage or Zorowski's, he's not in there at their level. And so they're the best bets to perhaps win top six spots in the future. So he's got to look at being a third liner or fourth liner in Montreal realistically, because he's not beating out Slav or Caulfield or Demidov either, right? He's not a center. It'll be a wing. Ideally, you hope if everything comes together that it's third line, with some production, but he'll have to get better. His skating will have to improve a lot. He'll have to play more physical and become a better defensive player to go along with those offensive skills that he has, in the hopes that maybe he could be a two-way playmaker on a third line down the road. I think it's probably, I'd say it's less than 50% for him winning a job in Montreal at this point. But that doesn't mean, we'll have a better idea after next year. This offseason will be really important for him. If he comes back and he's that much more improved, then you never say never. But if he is going to make the NHL someday, it would probably be in another organization, and that's fine. It's an asset. If he leads Providence in scoring this year and then again next year, and right now he's not like near the top 30 in college. So let's say next year he is, if he can make that next step where he's where he becomes a top 30 player as a junior, Canadians will probably sign him. You give him 2 or 3 years in the AHL, hope that he progresses, and hope that they have somebody like Pascal Vincent still coaching him, helping him. I mean, we saw, Jake Evans wasn't a great skater when he was drafted. He got better and better as he went through college. By senior, he was decent, but he still needed to improve. And then every offseason, when he come to Montreal's camp, you could see, oh, he's a little better skater. Oh, he's a little more explosive. Till finally now he's at least an average skater at the NHL level. And you wouldn't have ever thought that when he was drafted out of the OJHL and his first year or two of college, that he'd become at least an average NHL skater. So, never say, mind you, Evans had better technique than Logan Sawyer. However, he's bigger. He's got better offensive skills than Jake, perhaps, and you never know. But anyway, that's a look at Logan Sawyer. There had been a request for me to look at him, and get a report out. I'm not overly excited about him. I think he's, probably somewhere in the 15 to 20 range in the Canadiens, maybe top 15, but I'd say probably mid-teens is where he would land right now on the depth chart as far as Canadiens prospects go. So Logan Sawyer doesn't have mean stride at this point. That was the question I was asking. Yeah. Wouldn't call him a modern day warrior either. All right. Enough of the rush. Habs. Let's talk Habs. Let's see the schedule coming up here, folks. Beat the Oilers. Yabba dabba doo. Flyers tomorrow night. Oh, I wish Reinbach could get called up to play against Michkov, but I guess that's not happening. Eh? One of these days, we'll see them playing against each other. Who plays tomorrow night? I'll get to your comments here in a few minutes. I personally would I would start Fowler. I haven't looked at your comments yet. I don't know what people have been saying, but Fowler would be. I'd come back with Fowler. I thought he was decent his last game. I think the Canadiens really tightened things up, and if they play like they did against Edmonton, then against Philly, that'd be nice for Fowler to get his confidence. I mean, they kind of left him out to dry there in his second game, so I'd come back with him and hope that the Canadiens defense and offense, I mean, the whole team really worked hard. I'd like to, see that again, but in front of Fowler, and give him, protect him like they did Dobie last game. Well, for the first 50 minutes anyway, and bounce back with maybe only giving up a couple goals and hopefully win again. Hey, he's .750 win percentage so far, 2 games. So, yeah, Dobie was good last game, and you could come back with him. I don't think either one is wrong. Like, if Dobie's in net, I'm not going to have an issue with it. If Fowler's in, I'd like them to come back with Fowler, but I don't have a problem with either. The only problem I'd have would be if they play Monty. If they put Monty in instead of either of the kids. I think for now it's got to be one of the young lads, one of the rookies. I'd put in Fowler, but I can understand coming back with Dobie again too. I just think, coming back with Fowler would be telling him, hey, we don't blame you for giving up 5 goals the other night. Keep him confident. You want to give him as many looks as possible here. If they are planning on making a decision with one of the 3 goalies soon, well, then give Fowler as many looks as possible so you can get a good read on him. I hope they aren't there certainly are people that are saying, oh, send him back down. I'm not of that opinion. I think he should be until further notice, until he's playing worse than Monty was and is playing. I go with Fowler. Fowler and Dobie. You never know which Dobie you're going to get, right? That's the problem with Fowler. You have a better idea that he's not going to be bad. At the very worst, he's going to be, he's going to be decent. So I also think Philly, beatable team, like not a high-powered offense. And if the Canadiens compete like they did the last game and are tight defensively, I don't think Fowler will get overwhelmed like he did in Madison Square Garden on Saturday night. So, change in. There's been some news, eh? Berard's out for a couple of weeks. I hope that doesn't. I hope they know by New Year's Eve his status. I don't know if it'll affect whether he makes the Olympic team or not, but I think they're announcing on New Year's Eve the Team Canada. So I hope he's going to be back in early January, and I hope he's on the team because he's a pretty dynamic young player. Jarmo Kekalainen is the new GM, and Kevin Adams. They finally. Pagula doesn't do it very well, does he? Kind of, I don't know. Left. I'm not a big Kevin Adams fan by any means. I didn't think he should have been, back this year. But you leave him hanging like that. I don't know. I didn't like the way it was handled by Pagula. But Jarmo gets another GM's job. I'm wondering. I don't know if Trevor Timmins will join him there. Maybe become the head scout of Buffalo. I wouldn't have an issue with that. I hope Trevor does get a head scouting job again because he works hard, and I think he he should be a head scout for some team, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe he'll join Jarmo in Buffalo. They when Trevor started out in Ottawa, Jarmo Kekalainen was, so they worked together. They worked together in Buffalo, and then Jarmo brought him over to Columbus, right, when he was still GM. So we'll see if maybe he joins Jarmo in Buffalo down the road. We'll see. I've already commented on the big trades there. I think that I like what Vancouver got for Quinn Hughes. I think it was a decent return. We'll look. I just want to get back to the schedule here again for a minute. So the Flyers, another coming up here, 5 frigging games in 7 nights again, starting tomorrow night. It's just a crazy condensed schedule right now. Blackhawks Thursday without Bedard. Penguins, who are on a skid now, so back to back with the Penguins, which is crazy. And then the Bruins next Tuesday. But these games are winnable for the Habs. After a kind of a tough sked for a while there, these games are winnable. Hopefully the second period curse is over. So they got the 3 games: Flyers, Blackhawks, Penguins, all winnable games. And I'd like to see the Canadiens get at least 4 points out of those 3. It'd be nice if you got 5 or 6, but we'll see. Typically, a young team like that's going to be inconsistent and still lose nights when you think they should, vice versa. So let's get to a few comments. We don't have too many people on live chat here tonight. Not as of yet, anyway. I didn't give much notice on this. Johnny Golden says, hard to say no to Dobish. He could get hot. Yeah, and Fowler could get hot. Danielle says Fowler. I don't think there's a wrong answer. Jake, hey Jake, I'd play Dobish, and from here on out between him and Fowler. If you win, you're in. Well, that's fair. Play Dobish again tomorrow. I'd split their games until one shows more dominance than the other. Yeah. Same lineup. You can't change the lineup after that solid performance. Maybe not. And what? So 2 nights rest. Dobie hadn't played. Yeah, Dobie hadn't played for a while, right? So he's only played once in the last week or whatever. Again, Superman. How are you, bud? Good old Irish kid. Hey, hey. Top of the morning to you. I don't know. I don't have any Baileys in my coffee. I'm having a coffee. No pints tonight, lads. Save that for the hockey game tomorrow night. Who was the best skater you ever saw? Connor McDavid, I guess. He wasn't bad. Well, McDavid has to be the best skater of all time. Yeah. Well, and especially with the puck, right? What he can do at high speeds. Beck is awesome in the face-off circle. So far, isn't he? 70% this year. Can't be bad. I like it. I like it a lot. Did you guys want to chime in on Grant's 2 questions? Yes, at the top of the show. I probably don't change the lineup, like other than maybe in goal. The skaters, I think I keep the same because they were just one of the best games of the year. And typically when you do play one of your best games of the year, keep the lineup the same. I thought Engstrom and Struble were decent together. I liked Carrier and Hudson as a pairing. They were fine. And Matheson was a beast last game. Got to give guy his due. Yeah, those are the 2 questions. Scoy George. Same to you, pal. Oh, Fort George and Scoy George. So one's in a fort, the other one's Scoy. Okay. By George. Fort George says Jack Eye for Struble. Okay. The kid can move when he's moving his feet. I say he tends to glide a lot more than I'd like. Yeah. I think if he gets stronger and moves his feet more, he'll be fine. Well, but technique's technique, right? Mooney's a pretty good prospect. Yeah. He might be ahead of Sawyer right now, but he's in the same kind of boat. Mooney's really nice with the puck, but oh my goodness, in his own zone right now, he gets overwhelmed at the college level. It's years before he's playing in the NHL, if he does. With Montreal, there's a lot for him to learn. He's got to get stronger. He's got to learn the defensive end of things because he would get. I mean, he's getting overwhelmed at the college level, and which tells you that he's years away from the NHL. You got to be able to defend in your own zone, and Mooney for his speed. You got to love his speed and playmaking. One of the fastest skaters in college, but he's really small, and he's really overwhelmed defensively at this point. So, does he play a bottom 6 role in the NHL? Almost has to be top 6, and I don't know, 5'7" playmaker. Is that going to be better than Zurowski or Hage? Yeah. He's a long shot. Mooney's a long shot to play for the Canadiens too one day. And in large part for both these guys, it's because they just have they've got so much depth, right? And good prospects coming up that are ahead of them. But I do like Mooney too. He's he's probably a little ahead of Sawyer for me, just because of his dynamic speed more than anything. But he's still somewhere 11 to 15 in my rankings. Do I think the Sabres' new GM will finally right the ship? Yeah, Yarmo, we'll see. At least they hired somebody with experience. Like the last five that Pagula, I don't know if he was trying to be cheap or whatever, but last few GMs that they brought in had no previous experience at the NHL level. I think this time they said, well, we better get somebody that's been there, done that. Even though I'm not a huge fan of recycling guys. How many rebuilds have they been through? I don't know. Too many. If you're watching we're getting a few stragglers over from. If you're watching this on X, you see the question of the day. Come on over and weigh in on the live chat here, YouTube. Okay, so if they play Monty, Grant's going to be angry to have a podcast that night. They better not do it. Too angry to have a podcast. No, that just means I'll be revved up. Maybe drink 3 beers. Can you draw a comparison between Texier and Paul Byron? Is he as versatile that he would be a more valuable asset than a typical fourth liner like Joel Armia? Well, I mean, Byron was short. Texier's kind of lanky, tall. Byron's more competitive. Texier, not quite as fast, but a good skater. Not as not as competitive as Paul Byron. Not as good defensively as Paul Byron, but probably smarter. A little more playmaking ability than Paul Byron. They're not. I wouldn't call them. They aren't very similar players. I don't think. Really, would be my opinion. I think Fowler has a lot of swagger. Don't think that last game affected him at all. Next time he plays, he'll be great. Oh yeah. He hasn't lost two games in a row too often in his career. I might go back over stats and have a look. I'd be curious to know, but I bet you it's not often that he through the years that he's lost 2 straight. Yeah. No, I don't mind his defending. JF. I don't like that he skates forward to get out of the zone with the zone exit a bit too prematurely. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't agree with these points necessarily, JF. I think you're being a little overly critical on it. I like his angles. I really like his I like his one-on-one defending. I think it's excellent. Really like Texier's speed. Oh, you like his intensity? Yeah. We're all everybody's on the Texier bandwagon after him scored a couple of goals, but we'll see. I'm not going to get too excited about him just yet. But at least he's, better than he started. We'll put it that way. Last year, Monty would play great after a bad game. Last year. This year, sadly, Monty can't stop a beach ball from going in. Yeah. Lane's older brother Quinn has been called up by Edmonton. Yeah. He's putting up good stats too. I wish he'd have been called up You know, I wish he'd have been called up a game ago. Would have loved to have seen his first game be against Lane. Get the whole family there watching. Um, he has been officially dropped from Team Canada. Well, duh. Yeah. When you're third string goalie in Montreal, you're not going to be playing for Team Canada. Hey, Grant, have a good night. Oh, so you just came on to say goodbye? Hello, goodbye. Claude, there's no room for another small forward. Not right now. No, they need size in the bottom six. Um, I don't know a lot about Tristan DeLille at this point, Claude. If you don't take the odd day off, I'm gonna turn my notifications off. Yeah. Well, you don't have to show up every night. I don't know. I'm trying to get this thing rolling here, and I had done a Sawyer video, and I was waiting to put it up. And I said, "Oh, why not? Why not do a live show at 9 o'clock tonight? What the heck?" No, I haven't. I don't take too many days off, do I? Um, yeah. What about him? What's his? Is this his first draft year, Claude, or what? I'm not Claude. I'm a Habs. I do the HabsCast now. Drafted. It's a little more casual about it this year, so I just do not enough hours in the day for me to looking at every friggin' you know junior kid now between the Habs and the Habs prospects and the top draft guys. I'm still not getting enough rest and sleep. Uh, AI, yeah. Well, AI also told me that um, Alfie and Newsy Lalone hold the NHL record for most game-winning goals in a row at 4. And I mentioned that I asked Liam, and he said, "Well, I think Newsy Lalone holds the record at 5." And I said, "Well, you know, AI told me it was these two." He says, "Oh, well, I'll check." And sure enough, Liam was right. Newsy Lalone. So right now, Pickford's tied with Newsy Lalone as far as most consecutive game-winning goals in a row. Newsy from Cornwall, Ontario, former Hab, former Renfrew millionaire. He uh, he had he had 5 consecutive games, which is the NHL record. 5 consecutive games um, with game-winning goals, which is just. But again, that was in an era when you know uh, Joe Malone scored like 2 goals a game, and one season, and it was a bit not the same era. Plus, uh, uh, Pickford's a Pittsburgh is a friggin' defenseman, which is crazy. All right, so Tristan DeLille last year was his draft year, Claude. 5'11", 2007. So last year was his first draft year. 40 points. Yeah, I'll ask uh, I'll ask some NHL guys about him, but I wouldn't get too excited about that just yet. But 21 goals is nice. Maybe he gets looked at as a late pick this year. Is Ron Wilson's his grandfather? Okay. Another assist by Stamkos tonight. Yeah, the stammer just keeps going, eh? 2-4 teams let Texier go. Montreal only has him because of depth. Great that Texier carves out a job, but on the other hand, don't get. Yeah, I'm not crazy excited about Texier, but he's playing. You know, he's played well the last couple of games, and I mean he's been getting good opportunity. It's not like they're sticking him. They put him on the second line and now the third, and he's looked okay. I don't mind him. Stammer with another point. I'll just quickly go look at the scoreboard here while we're at it. Ottawa, excuse me. Ottawa, Winnipeg's playing tonight. Ducks are up 4-1 on the Rangers, or they beat them 4-1. Florida's going to beat Tampa. I like that. Winnipeg up on Ottawa. I guess that's a good thing. Nashville 4, St. Louis 1. Mailloux scored a nice goal the other night, eh? I hope he's starting to find his game. We'll see. Stammer with an assist. Yep. Right on. Let's just quickly. Yeah. Mailloux +1 tonight. He's kind of stemmed the tide as far as the 6 shots on goal. He's starting to find his game a bit here. I'm pulling for him. I hope he can get things straightened around. +1 and a goal last game. +1 so far tonight. I mean, his first 10 or so, a little ugly, right? The plus-minus, but I think he's gonna. I still think he's gonna be a decent. He'll be a second pairing right defenseman. Well, it was hard not to talk about Pickford after. I mean, I wouldn't just say it was because I was talking about him. Kind of hard to ignore what he's doing. You know, I'd like to take credit for it all, but I mean, yeah. I won't. I can't take credit for that. Pickford almost has the same stats as Lindstrom did in his last real season in Medicine Hat. Only point that out. That season, Lindstrom played 32 games. Yeah. And he didn't get invited to the World Junior Camp either, right? He's, well, Demi's looking better, put it that way. I had a good look, and there was no way I couldn't rank. I liked Lindstrom, but limited hockey sense, I think. Limited offensive upside. Good skater, big guy, got some physicality to him. Can score, will score some goals, but didn't see a lot of creativity from him. I think the media in Montreal was pretty harsh on Mailloux, pushing a narrative that he wasn't very bright, low hockey. Yeah, media and then the fans can be a bit sheepish. Sometimes they get, these narratives get out there, and it's hard to shake them. Just like Kapanen, right? All echoing the same thing. No, he can't be. He's a third or fourth, at best, a third or fourth liner. Well, okay. Have you ever scouted him? No. But, it becomes the narrative, and that's that. I've been around the game for 40 years, 50 years, and been in the scouting business for 20, and, I've followed prospects for 50 friggin' years, and I know that you need experience to be, especially when you're a big defenseman. Freaking Larry Robinson had to play a year and a half in the minors before he was ready. And that was starting at 20 years of age, right? I mean, Logan Mailloux played 100 friggin' junior games and 100 games in the AHL so far. So you have to be patient with these guys. And he's missed a pile of time. And it's just the NHL game is so fast and their players are so big. And they get you on the forecheck just like that, you know? I mean, Jared Tenorti was the top 22 pick. And look how many years it took him to adjust to the speed in the NHL. He's still, you know, he's back in the AHL or whatever, but, you know, it took him friggin' 7 years. There's a lot of defensemen that really didn't come into their own till mid-20s. I mean, the average age of a regular NHL defenseman is 24, I believe, 23, 24. And Mailloux's not that yet. So, no, I saw a kid, hey, that played 28 minutes a game for London before he had 100 OHL games, took them to the friggin' OHL finals, played all situations. And this is for Dale Hunter. Dale Hunter's not an idiot. You know, if Logan Mailloux was his best defenseman and took him in, you know, and he'd only played 80 games in the friggin' OHL, playing in all situations for them and playing well. I never understood he's brain dead, low IQ stuff. It became a narrative, and people not really studying him, scouting him. All Montreal Canadiens prospects, especially high ones like Kapanen, I scouted out more than 100 games before this year. So I knew what he could bring. Like, work hard. And you know, like, it's, you know, nothing, I'm not a special scout or anything. It's through repeated views. You get to see. And it was the same with Mailloux. I probably watched him 60 to 100 times before this year, and scouted him, not just look at games and kind of casually, you know, follow the puck, follow him, scout him directly. I mean, he's never going to be fantastic. I wouldn't say he's high IQ, but he's not dumb. Like, he'll make the odd mistake, like most NHL defensemen. They make the odd mistake. Like, is Matheson dumb? No. You know, he makes the odd mistake. Mailloux will have the odd turnover here and there and stuff, but he's not. He's by no means a bad defensively or dumb. He just needs time, experience, and he'll be fine. He's a really good skater. He's a big kid, got a wicked shot, physical. Like, there's a lot of tools there. And just like Thomas Harley took 2.5 years in the American League, quite a few hiccups along the way. Now look at him. Kids on fire, Pickford. Oh, absolutely. Best shot. Just has a wicked shot. Absolutely love his shot. Kapanen had a great game last night. He defended really well. Yeah, Claude, I agree. He was solid, big time. Do I think Reinbach will play a few games for the Habs this year? Yeah, maybe. Although we did have JF Dubé says he's got to work on his angles. The rush, I don't think he skates forward to get out of the zone. With the zone a bit too prematurely. I'll keep an eye on that, JF. I haven't found that that's the case, but I mean, he's not perfect yet, but like anything else, you got to keep working on your game, right? Demidov has a wicked shot, another tool in his arsenal. Oh yeah, that's why I've been frustrated. just from seeing him in the last 3 years, frick, when he does decide, he's more of a playmaker. It's his first inclination, but he can shoot the puck. There's no doubt about that. And he's got to do it more often. I cannot disagree with that. Look at the scoreboard here again. 3 minutes left. Winnipeg, Ottawa. That one's coming down to the wire. Big time. I'll keep an eye on this. Geez, Logan Stanley. What the hell's going on with him? He's actually there's an example of a big guy. Took him a lot of years, right? He's finally figuring things out. I hear people opine Arbor being a forward, maybe Pickford can be the next Wendell Clark. Seeing a junior get success is well enough, and hopefully Pickford has a good career. Yeah. Well, he's a good defenseman. Mailloux was an AHL All-Star twice in a row. Yeah, coming out. I got to junior, be it as a goalie, but Logan has played 28 more games in NHL than I did, and I'm only 50 years old. There you go. Zeffel Cave. Oh, here comes the narrative. Mailloux has weaknesses as a D. Yep, okay, because that's what everyone tells you, right? No, he doesn't. All he needs experience. No, he's not dumb. False. The Mailloux narrative was started by the snake. Well, not just the snake. No, there's not everybody in the Montreal media. Oh, well, Snake says that No. There's been a few, and that becomes the standard, right? I mean, Snake was one of them, but it wasn't just the Snake. It's been bandied around there. Is he great defensively? Not yet, but he's going to be solid. He will be. He's big. He freaking good skater for his size. Physical. Not dumb. He's not. It's just needs repetition. Just needs more experience, like any young defenseman. And we're way too impatient with him. Way too impatient. Expecting, Ottawa ties it up. Sanderson with 2 minutes left. Oh, Stützle. Tina will be happy about that. She's got Stützle in the pool. He's got 2 assists tonight. I didn't hear a yeah. Usually I hear yeah. What else we got here? Would I say that was not a favorite of the present management? No, I wouldn't say that. No. They got Zach Bolduc for him. That's why he was traded, not because he wasn't a favorite. No, they liked him just fine. Grant, how do you see Logan Mailloux is a good guy. What he did wasn't good, but he made a big mistake, but I got to know him there some, and he's a polite young man and well liked. How do you see Bolduc fitting on this team? Well, he's 22. Again, we got to be patient with him. I liked his last game. That was his best game in a while. It can't be easy moving around from line to line all the time, right? And that's what he's been doing. So I think it's a matter of time for him. Now, do I see? I think third line, middle line. Somewhere. Ideally, he's 25 goal scorer on your third line. That'd be nice to have. Been a while. Amongst NHL forwards who played 15 plus matches, which have players second in the NHL for most takeaways per 60 minutes and 14th for most blocks per 60 minutes. I'll say Slav. Might be Cappy. He played 15 games? Doc played 15 games? Yeah? Well, trick question. I mean, the freaking guy hasn't been in the lineup for 2 months. Come on now. Lane is insane. He just keeps getting better and better. Yeah. Yeah. The Capster. Oliver's been playing solid, eh? Frick. He's just so smart. Well, folks, you got any more questions here? What's my take on Panicus? I had some takes there the other night. Go back and watch my last 5 Point Night. He was my Sunday podcast with Rick. He was featured as honorable mention. I had video of his goals. Hey, you got to give them time coming back from mono, right? But I'd like to see him be more consistently competitive, use that size more often. He can scrap, but he doesn't always get engaged physically, and he can. And that's what he's going to need to do to win third or fourth line center spot with Montreal. 6'4" kid that can skate well, good shot. So he should be able to score some goals. I don't know how. I wouldn't call him an above average puck distributor and playmaker at this point. I mean, he dishes it okay, but I wouldn't say that it's above average. But he's got a very good shot. His size skating combination is a big plus. He can fight. I wouldn't call him physical, but that's what I think. As he gets bigger, as he gets to pro, and they tell him, look, you're going to have to play consistently. You're going to have to be rugged. You're going to fill a role here. We want you to play with energy and you're not going to be a dangling superstar at this level. Use your size consistently. And I think as he matures and understands that that's going to have to be his ticket to an NHL spot, then I see him ceiling as a third. Can't see him being a second line center, but third is a possibility. But fourth line looks like I could see Jack-Eye, Papanicus, and Thorpe as Canadiens' fourth line in 2 or 3 years, and them being hard on a lot of teams. They'd be physical and a real pain in the ass, kind of like Vegas had back in their heyday, when you go into Vegas and you had Nick Raw, Colasar, Reeves, those guys, just bam, 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 hitting on the, having you in your own zone and hitting the defenseman and wearing them down. That's ideally down the road. The Canadiens are going to need that, and I think they've got it with those three. The size that but also some ability to score some goals and to be a dominant fourth line down the road. Something like that is what I picture for the Canadiens, which is also why I think a guy like Logan Sawyer and LJ Mooney, less so, but those two, for instance, are going to have a hard time beating out players like that in the bottom six, because ideally, you want to win at playoff time. It's not going to be with LJ Mooney on your fourth line. It's going to be with guys like Thorpe, Papanicus, and Jack-Eye. I think that's what I think the Canadiens sort of envision, and why these guys were all picked, third, fourth round. And the hope is that they'll fill those roles, right? Oh, I just heard a woohoo. Ottawa won it. Oh, Brady Tkachuk, Stutzla. Okay, just give me 2 secs. I'm going to say something to Tina. I'll be right back. 3 assists for Stutzla. Nice comeback. No, happy wife, happy life, right? She's well, hey, we live in Ottawa, so I can forgive her for cheering for the Sens, right? If Snake comes on, ask him if he's changed his opinion on Cappy. Yeah. I gotta actually, I'm gonna email Snake tonight. I think he's gonna come on Wednesday. If not, I think that was the plan after the World Junior Challenge, and it's done now. So hopefully Snake will come on Wednesday, and we'll be doing a HabsCast Wednesday. So hey, Mark, there. See, patience is a virtue. I go long enough, somebody comes up with some cash. Good. $5 an hour. Hey, it's better than nothing, right? Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the contribution. That'll buy me a nice coffee. No, I'm not a Starbucks guy. But yeah. Hey, Snake said that he's changed his opinion on guys before. He did on Hudson and Caulfield. He says wait 5 years on Kapanen, but he might at least have to grudgingly admit that maybe Cappy would at least be a third line center, considering he's leading all rookies in goals. I think Cappy is also quite good with block shots. Got to say, I was surprised seeing Doc up there with both stats. Although I guess he regrets that last block shot. Yeah, Cappy blocks quite a few shots. He's been doing it lately a lot more too. And I found important ones. I found on the penalty kill, he's been blocking a lot more. Slav blocks quite a few shots too. If you look at hits and block shots, last year, Slav among forwards was top 3 or 4, I think. Yeah, like there were only a couple or handful that had more. Like his hits and block shots were really good. There was like only a couple of guys, and one of them was Tolvanen, which kind of surprised me, but that had more combined, and it kind of surprised me. In the last 4 games, Cappy has 6 block shots, so that stat's coming up for him. He's got 27 on the year, so that's 6 of them coming in the last 4 games. So lately, that's been a bigger part of his game for sure. I'm just quickly going to look up Slav here. See how many block shots Slav has. By the way, you want the great stats. Hockey Reference is excellent. Slav is 29. So Cappy 27, Slav 29. Look for that number to keep going up for Cappy. Hudson is 40. Well, the defenseman, obviously. But among forwards, Anderson is 26, Cappy 27, Slav 29, and Suzuki 28, actually. So those are the guys I expected to be at the top. Doc, 15 and 15 games. So like one per game, which puts him a little bit ahead of the pace of the other guys. But Cappy, 6 in the last 4 games. Look for him. I wouldn't doubt it if by the end of the year he's leading. It's between him and Slav for the most blocks. They're both pretty good, both pretty damn good at it. Yet another part of Slav's game. What the heck? $10 super sticker. Oh my goodness. Okay. $15 an hour. Almost living wage. Thank you, Fort George. Thanks for holding the fort, George. I appreciate that. That's a pleasant surprise. I always appreciate it, folks, for your contributions. And you know what? When that happens, it means I got to stay on for a little longer, right? Okay, I'll do that. I feel guilty leaving right after. Take the money and run, as Steve Miller used to say. Don't like to do that. Go on, take the money and run. Woo, woo, woo. Eric always has good questions. Is Joshua Arroy doomed to be a star in the AHL but just can't make the jump to the NHL? Yeah, well, there's been hundreds of them through the years. We call them tweeners. Almost too good for the AHL, not quite good enough for the NHL. Hey, he's almost got to play, and this will be what might plague Mooney and Logan Sawyer. You know, almost have to play top 6 roles, or they're not ideally bottom 6 guys. So they may end up just being productive AHL players and not, but we'll see. Does Owen Protz have a future with the Habs or NHL? Oh, I think so. I don't know if it'll be the Habs because they're loaded on the left side, but the physical brand of hockey that he plays and brings, I'd say he has a shot. Quentin Miller. Is Quentin Miller legit? Oh, it's a little early to say that. I didn't know think he was legit until this year. Now, you know, hey, he won the goaltender of the month as a freshman, and that's impressive. But in the games I've looked at, Denver pretty solid, keeping shots to the outside. Not a lot of high danger shots that he's had to face. I've been more impressed by Cornwall, to be honest with you, in the looks that I've had at the two of them as freshman goalies in NCAA. But I haven't. I'll keep looking at them, and I'll have a better answer for you by the end of the year on that. We'll have a better idea on Miller too when they're playing really meaningful games down the stretch here. And I always put a fair bit of stock in what they do in the tournament, the Frozen Four tournament, like the regional tournament and then the Frozen Four. But hey, he surprised me. I thought I pretty much had written him off as a prospect, you know, going into this year. But then he goes into Denver and wins the job. He's playing every game, and and doing well. So good for him. Canadians have really done an outstanding job of scouting in the past few years. They're really right at the top. It's just it's jam packed full of promising prospects. You gotta like it. Snake will likely never consider Cappy a second line center in a contending team unless he puts up 75 less points. Well, did Cirelli? Did Chandler Stevenson? Did Braden Shen? Did I can name a ton Stanley Cup winning second line centers that never had 75 points. Patrice Bergeron never had 75 points, I don't think. He was a first line center, you know, on a team that won a cup, a team that freaking set points records, teams that went to the Stanley Cup final, first line center. And Patrice Bergeron was not a 75 point scorer. So I guess it depends on, Snake's a little more, he likes the skilled point producers of it. He has a little bit more of an appreciation for them than I do, necessarily as being, your second line center. But Bergeron had one. Okay, I'm wrong. He had one 75 point year, but one in his career. He scored 79 points. The only time that he hit 70 points in his career, other than his second year and third year. Okay, 3 times. 75. He only hit once, and that was 2018-19. And that's playing first line role with Marchand and Pasternak. So, we're talking second line center. Do you have to be a 75 point scorer? Well, Cirelli won 2 cups. Bennett won 2 cups. Shen won a cup. Chandler Stevens won a cup, and none of them were 60 point scorers. So, I think Demi needs that type of player. He needs a conscientious, two-way, smart center, and that's Cappy. I really like him as a pairing. Fort George, you do a great HabsCast. Thank you, man. No one else doing a better HabsCast out there, I hope. Yeah. There's no better HabsCast than HabsCast. Thanks, Fort George. I really appreciate the $10 donation. See that, folks? He gets a super sticker, and well, hey, nothing finer than having a super sticker. Snake. Okay, enough about Snake. He's a good guy. Did Renaud Lavoie apologize to me? No. Well, I gave him I tuned him in about that, so he probably doesn't like me, but he didn't earn me as a friend with that. The roll eyes when I said he could. I never said he would start as second line. I said he could be a second line center, I think, in the NHL. Like, I wasn't even that emphatic about it. I just said, he might, he has the potential to perhaps be a second line center, and Renaud just the rolled eyes thing, and I said, oh, that's a really great compelling argument that you've given me. Like, if you disagree, maybe say why, not friggin' the rolled eye thing. But yeah, it wasn't a good look for him because now he looks silly about it, right? Oh well, I don't feel sorry for him. No, he didn't apologize. I don't expect that he ever will. I think Protz will take Arbor's spot. Yeah. Who is Renaud? Who is he with anyways? TVA Sports. Oh, I was supposed to have on stats guy from TVA Sports, and all set to come on, and then he tells me last week, no, my boss at TVA Sports said it'd be a conflict of interest for you to be on. This is a French sports station, television station. It'd be a conflict for him, a stats guy for TVA Sports, to come on an English podcast. Really? So I guess they're sticking up. They've all decided they don't like me because I tuned in Renault for being an ass to me. I don't know. Some media guys it's for whatever reason they don't like. Anyway, whatever. So it is. Do you think Jack-I will get traded because of the depth on defense for the Habs? Conflict of language, yeah. Do you think Jack-I will get traded because of the? Maybe. He might get traded, yeah. And Protz might take Arber's spot, maybe. There's also Struble there. There's also Engstrom there. Hudson back on the left when Reinbacher and Pickford are in. So Protz has to beat it. Like, okay, so we've got Hudson, Matheson, Goalie, right? Then there's Engstrom, there's Struble, there's Arber, like he's about 8th on the depth chart on the one side right now. So it's going to be a long, when you say take Arber's spot, well, Arber's might be 6th on the left depth chart now, right? So he'll take the 6th spot on the left side. That's still not a spot in the NHL. It's not going to be easy for him, Montreal, but he brings elements that would be nice, and there's a possibility down the road, maybe, he's kind of got the playoff kind of pedigree thing, right? But not the greatest skater in the world, not real skilled with the puck. He's years away, but there could be a chance that down the road he's a physical third pairing shutdown type guy, right? Do you think Jack-I will get traded because of the depth on defense for the Habs? Yeah, I think I already answered that. Sorry. Does Point make the Olympic team? Well, he was one of the first 6 names, so yes. Not silly. Why he was one of the first 6 named, but there you go, catering to the coach, right? Cooper. But I mean, yeah, he was making the team, and there's no two ways about it. He's on the team. Suzuki's having a much better season than him. Yeah, well, nothing we can do about that. Hopefully Sawyer's another prospect doing well. Seem to have more of those than of them that aren't. Yeah. Yep. I know you like Stamkos, but considering the lack of physicality in our top 6, should we think about someone who hits a lot, goes in the corners? Well, that's a third liner, as typically. Stamkos goes in the corners. His hit totals would surprise you too, actually. He's got 3 times as many hits as Ryan O'Reilly in his career. There's a stat for you. Might surprise you, eh? Lavoie is not a fan favorite amongst French. Well, it's not amongst this Englishman either. Whatever. Let's not keep talking about him. Now you have your own podcast. We are the richer, they are the poorer. Hey, there you go. Renaissance Resistor. Thanks for the great show, Grant. No problem. Thanks for showing up, guys. I mean, more of a future enforcer type. Guys like Arbor don't last long. Yeah. Never mind the French media. Okay. I don't mind, but I think Doc is better than Stammer, and Capman is likely better than him too. Yeah, but we're not looking at Stammer on the at center, looking for him on the wing. And there's a spot there. I don't think Doc and Cap. I like Doc and Captain, but they're not better than Steven Stamkos. 1,200 point, two-time Cup winner. They need some experience, and he brings the winning pedigree. He really does. All right, folks. We're 90 minutes in here. If you got a couple more questions, get them to me quickly here. I'm all caught up. But might have to end it up here pretty soon. Ooh, we got a fair amount of people watching. Go Habs, go. Can't argue with that. Doc was on fire when he got hurt. This is really too bad, eh? Just quickly here. He was scoring goals. He was blocking shots. He had 5 blocks in his last 4 games. 2 games there, he had decent face-off percentage. 100% against the Devils. 5 wins, no losses, which kind of shocked me. So the parts of his game were improving. What was his? He was up to 43% on face-offs, which, considering he was always below 40, 43 is, you don't want to really be below that, but 43 is acceptable. If you're bringing other parts to your game. What do you have here? He had 4 goals in 3 games. And then a couple of games where he was -2 and then he got injured. So his last 3 games weren't great, but just before that, he had 4 goals in 3 games, and he was starting to look like he was starting to find his game, right? So it is too bad that every time he gets going, I hear you, man. Eric, hey. Eric threw me a toonie. Thanks, my friend. Favorite almost NHL player. Almost NHL player? I don't know, like Zhirovsky, I guess. What would your answer be, Eric? I still believe in Doc. Yeah. Good. Newhook was tearing it up. I know these guys are finally getting their game going. So when they come back and googly, like the Canadiens got to stay in the hunt here, and it's one of the reasons why I want Fowler. He's better than Monty right now, so I don't want to send him back. I've been seeing that, that comment on social media, on a few media, send him back within the week. But I think the Canadiens have to keep going with the three guys for now and see what they got, because right now Monty doesn't have it So hand it to Doby and Fowler. Give them a good couple of weeks here, unless they both falter, and then you got to go back with Monty. But here's hoping that I think I have a feeling that penalty kill the other night we may look back at as a turning point in the season. It was just so important, and I could see it. Like, I had the feeling about halfway through, I said, you know what? They're going to kill this friggin' thing off. Doby's on his game. Matheson's competing, and Carrier are competing like hell, and Evans. The three of them were just fabulous on that 5-on-3. And Doby, all four of them were battling. And I just had that feeling, you know what? They're going to kill this off. The crowd's going to go crazy, and the Habs are going to win this game. And that's exactly what happened. And, I think the young guys, because this is a young team, wait a sec. You mean the crowd can get that, be that excited about just playing well defensively? Yeah. This is the most intelligent hockey crowd on the planet in Montreal. And they appreciate competitiveness and battle, and giving your all, as much as making a fancy play. They really do. And the cheers, all these young guys, Demi be, I don't have to just make a fancy pass and a fancy play. Battle, and the crowd will love you too. And it just swung the momentum. Crowd was into it. Habs freaking all said, well, look at these guys, all the old guys on the team, right? The Evans, Carrier, and Matheson, the old guys are freaking battling. Well, we better. And Demi, and I commented on it, social media. I said Demi's dialed in. I could tell too, right? He was on his game. You could tell early on, and then he scored that goal. But he also, well, frick, I'm shooting a puck tonight, So I think there was some good. Marty and the coaching staff deserve some credit, because I think they had a couple of good days there, obviously, and got through some things through to them. Don't know what was said between the first period and the start of the second, like the first intermission, I mean. But for a change, they came out strong in the second period at home, because it was ridiculous. They had 42 goals against at home and 21 goals for from November up until that game. It was something ridiculous like that. It was like minus 20 at home goal differential in one period. So they turned that around. 3 breakaways, 2 goals, complete domination in the second period, and easily one of the best games of the season for the Habs. But I think they got their mojo back, and it may, it may look back on this and say that was a turning point in the season, where they were wallowing, and you started to wonder, are they going to fall back now? Are they going to fall behind, the pack? I don't think that's going to happen now. I think there's just, it's so close. The teams are so even that there aren't going to be 3 teams in the division that just kind of run away. They're going to keep beating each other, right? And it's going to stay close. I think the Canadiens stay, at the very worst, stay within 4 or 5 points of the leading pack, or maybe even stay right with them until Goalie, Doc, Newhook, get back, and then they've got that depth that they've kind of, that has hurt them in the past month, with just not having a bottom 6 that can match up against most teams. But I'm a lot more optimistic right now. That game, I think, was pivotal, and it all kind of turned on that 5-on-3. So thank the refs. Send them a toonie. Thank you, refs. Turn around the season by calling the double minor on the Habs. Can Arbor be converted to a forward? Well, he could be, but it's a possibility. Rick Chartraw. There'd be a few of you that would know who I'm talking about. Scotty Bowman, Jimmy Roberts, and Rick Chartraw, who played both, right? And when he wanted some physicality in the lineup, Chartraw was a defenseman in junior and pretty high pick. I think he might have been a first round pick, Sammy Pollock. But Scotty played them both. Played him on defense some nights, played him up front other nights, sat in the stands as well. Great show. Good night, boys. All right, Fort George. Thank you for the 10 spot. That made my day. You're to blame for me going on this long. I'll go a little longer. What is your take on giveaway stats? Forwards with most giveaways are all superstar forwards. Is the stat mainly relevant for defense or not at all? Yeah. Well, yeah. It's kind of a. I mean, that's a good point. Is McKinnon a bad player because he has more giveaways? No, it's because he has the puck, right? I think you have to almost, like, if you look at giveaways, to get a fair stat, and geez, I just thought of this, but maybe it's a new stat that we could come up with, but divide your giveaways by puck touches, right? So if you've got 200 puck touches in a game, 5 giveaways, it's 1 giveaway for every 40 puck touches, right? Which isn't bad. Versus a guy that has 3 giveaways on 80 puck touches. Well, the guy that had 5 giveaways and 200 puck touches, actually, his percentage is better than the guy that had 3 on only 80 puck touches. So really, that would give you a better idea. And I think you just gave me an idea, and I'm going to talk to advanced stats guys and stuff and say, come up with a ratio. Giveaways divided by puck touches. That gives you a better, more accurate look at guys that maybe are a little more tendency to give up the puck when they've got it. But a guy like McKinnon, he's got the puck, right? He's got the puck all the time. So of course he's gonna, and he'll actually, puck possession time, you could even factor that in too. But he has, puck possession is high, right? He'll try things that other guys won't, and sometimes he'll lose it. Usually it's not in his own zone. It'll be, up the ice, and it's not that pertinent. But yeah, the main reason, high giveaways are mostly superstars is because they got the friggin' puck most of the time. But that would be a more pertinent way of looking at it. Oh, this guy, he only has, he averages two giveaways a game, or 1. Yeah, okay. But he only touches the puck 20 times. Well, that's not very good, right? A good forward, like someone who, like, I look at it when they're in their draft year. It's one of the stats I look at is puck touches, especially for centers. You want them. You get an idea, right? If anywhere over 100 to 200 is a decent number of puck touches in a game for a center. And a really good game, a dominant game, is when they've got 200 puck touches. And I bet you McKinnon gets that quite a bit. Lots of injuries, and we're still winning. Yes, with the youngest lineup in the NHL and goaltending that's below 90%. You know, this fire Marty thing that you hear after a loss every now and then, it's really like, come on. Yeah, I mean, I get frustrated with him and I want him to change certain things, but have I ever said fire Marty St. Louis? No, frig. And the people that do, like, it's, come on. And it's usually because, oh, well, Arbor's not in the lineup, like the 6th or 7th defenseman. So fire Marty because the 7th defenseman should be the 6th, right? We're passionate, but come on, guys. Third line wing. Arbor, yeah, well, I'm surprised Laine is training. He's scheduled to come back into February. Doc is training and scheduled to come back in December. Yeah. Well, Laine, what? It was a hernia? I was a bit surprised that they said end of February, to be honest with you. It could be shorter than that. I wouldn't be surprised if Laine's back in January. Hey, contract year, right? He wants to get back at her. He wants to get some games in before the trade deadline, that's for sure. No other arena in the NHL does a crowd cheer as loud for PKs as they do for goals. No, I know why. It's because they know. They appreciate it. There's no room for Laine, in my opinion. Maybe not. You have a video where you talk about Cole versus Lane's game. No. You talking like Cole Hudson? No, I don't. Let's try a different name. Does Dobson look to be coasting a lot? Would he be available for trade if a center became available? No, Mr. James, I don't think Dobson. You don't make a big trade like that, sign the guy to a $9.5 million contract, and then turn around and trade him 40 games later. Don't see it happening. I don't see Kent Hughes doing that. I'm not saying it, if it were up to me that it would be outrageous if the right guy came along, but come on. Big right defenseman. He's not always flashy out there. Doesn't always look like he's competing at 100%, but he's pretty effective. And give him time. He's pretty the big right-hand defenseman that plays 22 minutes a game. They're awfully valuable, even if at times he can be a little frustrating. Wonder who the team will prefer over Laine and Texier. Well, that's it, right? Really, Newhook fits that profile too, but he's above those two. Yeah. Patty's going to get another. Well, they have no choice, right? $8 million salary. They're not going to sit him in the stands when he comes back. They're going to give him another look and another go and see what, if he gets going on the power play, that frickin' is such a key. And he, not many guys have that potential to be a dominant power play guy, and he does. So I'd say at this point, Laine over Texier, but we'll see. Honestly, I'd say Reinbacher loved a defensive defenseman with a sneaky ability to chip in. is my favorite almost NHLer. Oh, okay. Yeah. The Bacher. Well, he's my first top-rated prospect on the Habs, so I'm not going to disagree with you there. McDavid looked pissed off. If they give Monty a start and he blows again, what do they do with him, Grant? Well, they'll wait a while. I don't think they're going to do anything with him till they know what they've got with these other two guys. And that could be a ways off. I like Lenny, but I think he needs to be a lot cheaper of a contract going forward. Oh, well, I don't think that they're re-signing him. McDavid was pissed off because they weren't winning. Chartrand was a tough defenseman. Yes, he was, Claude. I just see Arbor being pushed out as number 9D, maybe. Outdoor dad, thanks. Wasn't Robert Bowman's brother-in-law or something? I don't know. But Scotty, had him in St. Louis. Had him, he had him a few times, and he kept, I want Jimmy Roberts on my team. He had an appreciation for him. Do you know why Dustin Byfuglien basically refused to play forward later in his Winnipeg career? Yeah, because he was 30 pounds overweight. Didn't want to do all that skating. When you look at overall hits in the league, Valeno's a team leader. Yep. Yeah, they do need maybe to hit more. MSL is the best coach I've had since Scotty Bowman. Yeah, maybe. Jacques won them Jacques Lemaire was a pretty good coach. Pat Burns was a pretty good coach. I wouldn't put MSL in their league just yet. They both won cups with other teams, and Pat Burns came close. He made it to the cup final with the Habs. Larry Robinson has a lot of good things to say about Pat Burns. Players really respected him. He was a tough character. A division question: is it a valid point of view to expect Kekalainen to turn Buffalo around given his Columbus record? I don't know. I think he's got more to work with than when he went to Columbus. It wasn't an easy. Don't forget, he had guys like Panarin that wanted to go to New York and didn't resign and this and that, right? Not a big market, Columbus. It wasn't easy. We'll see. Yarmo's pretty well respected, but he had his ups and downs in Columbus. But he wasn't always given a great hand there either. We'll see Chicago without Bedard this week. Somehow I can't imagine Chicago being dangerous without him. Losing that one would be depressing. Yeah. Eric, thanks again for the monetary contribution. You always have great questions. And as he's saying here, I always love the streams. Like and subscribe. Yeah, please do. Just hit the like button, hype, subscribe if you haven't already. It's all very much appreciated. If you're watching this on X, come on over, hit the like button, say good day, and I'll read your message. We'll see. Yeah, Chicago. Do you think the crowd will chant "We want Crosby" this weekend? Ooh, I don't know. Might be a little early. What do Habs have to adjust versus the Flyers not to look as bad as the first encounter? They had dominated the play. Yeah, I think they come out. They'll be what they have to adjust is their work ethic. Come out and play like they did last game. If they work like they did last game, they'll beat the Flyers. The crowd will be into it. Goalie's got to stop the first two shots, and that's what That's why I really hope Monty's not in nets, is he can't seem to save those first two shots. All right, good night, Grant. Okay, Eric. Oh, hi, Grant. Saw what you did there with the video cover. Are you a Rush fan? They're not my favorite band, but hey, come on. You got to appreciate Canadian band. Hey, uh, Neil Peart, like, what a drummer, right? Yeah, did you see the no rush on Sawyer? Mean stride. Hey, trying to get a few. I'm having fun with these thumbnails. What the hell, right? Hey, can't take yourself too seriously. Um, and I can't get fired, right? Not gonna fire myself, so what the hell? Yeah, no rush on Sawyer, and then I said mean stride or whatever. Does he have a mean stride? Today's Logan Sawyer, mean stride. No, not yet. He's got to work on his stride, but he's got a lot of pride. He's not going to hide. So, yeah, I better wrap this up soon. I'm starting to get silly. So is Michel Therrien. So is Michel Therrien. What? Good coach? Uh, Buffalo are just 6 points out of the playoffs, and they just got Josh Norris back. They're not out just yet. No, I know. They've got some good young players. Please, no Nickelback thumbnails. I don't even know a Nickelback song, so we're okay with that. It's not gonna. Yeah, we're okay. Who's the guy in the house system that we aren't talking about enough, and why? Oh, hmm. I don't know. Maybe Philip Erickson. He's pretty good. He's kind of a guy that's off the radar. 6th round pick. Had a really solid year in the SHL as a pretty young kid. Philip Erickson's going to be my answer to that. That's not an easy question to answer, but I'll say Philip Erickson. Arbor likely plays in Philly. Yeah, maybe, eh? Are they in Philly? I thought by the looks of this that they're. Aren't, says to me like they're at home, are they not, tomorrow night? Blackhawks at home, Penguins at home, then they go to Pittsburgh, then they go to Boston, right? It's past my bedtime. Good night and keep up the great work. Okay. Good night, Marlon. I hope here's hoping you don't find a horse head in your bed there, my friend. Sleep tight, Marlon. The Leafs are tied for last in the Eastern Conference. All is right in Habs land. Hallelujah. 1 point out of last. Close enough. Well, yeah. Philip Machar isn't talked about enough. Ooh. Scott, is that you? Yeah, well, there's a reason why Machar's not talked about enough, because he's hasn't lived up to the billing, has he? Oh, 666. We've got 666. The number of the beast. 666 viewing right now. 2 hours in. Okay, folks. No, he's not talking about enough. No, you're right. When you don't put up the emojis, we don't always know. But yeah, there's a reason why he's not talked enough. Hey, actually, I'm kind of glad that people don't dwell on it. You know, if the Canadiens were sucking and they didn't have a good farm system and they hadn't been drafting well, there'd be a lot of people talking about, they'd be saying, what, Philip Machar. Like that was one of the things with KK that too, right? I mean, they didn't have much in the system. He was a top 3 pick. Pile of freaking pressure on him. And the same with Chucky. When they picked Chuck, they needed a first line center. Both these guys were drafted to hopefully be that, and it didn't work out. And it was just the top of conversation all the time. But Machar was the second player drafted. He was a first rounder, but Slav was first, so he got most of the attention. Hudson came in, right, played great. So, Beck was drafted after him and looked like a decent second round pick, and he's looking like that now again too. Won 2 OHL championships, went World Juniors, one of only 2 players to ever play in back-to-back World Juniors and Memorial Cups, which is pretty cool. So, the spotlight wasn't on the fact that Machar was a missed pick. You hear some grumbling and some people talking about it, but, if he'd have been the only guy picked in the top 60 that year, then there'd be a lot more grumbling about it, right? Calling it a night as well. Thank you for another great show, Grant. Okay, Mark, I think I better wrap this up here too. Been a while since somebody contributed a bit of money, so I don't feel guilty ending it now. I always feel like I got to go for a while longer when somebody contributes some money. So it's been a while now, so I think I won't feel guilty. And the guy that gave me the $2 left. So okay. All right, folks. Apparently his eyes are wide. Okay. Not too many people complaining about Slav. No, good. They did though. And they did Reinbacher, and remember all the shows, and another podcast that was saying, Michkov is going to be a 50-goal scorer, and yeah, it's on pace for 20. It's on pace for 20 this year. Not going to be 50-goal scorer this year. Yeah, we'll see. It's funny, like Michkov has been trending the last few days on Twitter, and the friggin' Flyers fans, they just, and it does remind me of when remember when everyone, Habs fans, complained about Galchenyuk not being used at center, not being used as a top 2 center. They were ruining him, and the coaches were idiots. Chucky this, Chucky that. But they were right. He wasn't. He just Chucky just didn't have much interest in back checking and playing defensive hockey, and you have to be good away from the puck to play top two center role in the NHL. That's why Oliver Kapanen, a major reason why he's playing a top two center role this year and already killing penalties because he's very good away from the puck, very good defensively. Well, Chucky wasn't, and I mean it only remember when he went to Arizona and they stole him. Like even Ray Ferraro was saying, I think Arizona stole this guy. Uh, um, they tried him at center right away, and that lasted about a week. I said, wait a sec here. This guy can't check his hat. So, uh, getting back to KK, Michkov, but the fans just saying, hey, the coaches, it's all the coach's fault that Michkov isn't. Well, no, Michkov showed up out of shape this year. He's not skating very well. He's never gonna be a good checker. I don't think it's not. I mean, I saw that scouting him for 3 years. That doesn't have a pile of interest of competing in his own zone, and that's not on the coach. The coach wants to win. He's not there to just cater to one guy. But the fans, it's just all negative towards the coach for not playing Michkov 20 minutes a game on the top line and all the time, even though he doesn't deserve it. He really doesn't right now. He's a good offensive player. He's smart, but he doesn't deserve to be playing a whole pile right now in the NHL. And and it reminds me of Galchenyuk. There's some similarities there, right? We'll see. We'll see with Michkov, but this isn't surprising me that he hasn't just taken off and been a 40 goal, 50 goal scorer, all that. I'm not surprised of what's happening right now with him, but he's young. He's going to have to figure it out. He's going to have to stay in North America, I think, next year, and they keep a good eye on him and get him training harder. He needs to learn how to speak English too. I think he might be the only guy in the league that needs an interpreter. Anyway, it's interesting that how lots of people in the Montreal media just look, KHL and the NHL are completely different leagues. There's not a lot of checking in the KHL, and until he came here and we saw it with our own eyes for a couple of years, just I thought that these predictions of him being a 50 goal scorer in the NHL were maybe a little hasty, and we're seeing that now that he might have a year or two where he scores a bunch, and he may, he could be the next Neil Yakupov. It's could go one way or the other with him, or Galchenyuk, that type. I'm not, the Canadiens did not screw up taking Reinbacher over him. I didn't think it at the time, and I definitely don't think it now. There was risk there, and we're seeing why to a certain degree now. This is the second coach now in a row, right? That apparently the coach is wrong, and well, you're not going to find it different with any other coach. There's two goalie or coaches are all old school. They want the puck to be kept out of their own net just as much as putting it in the other team's net. So till coach is comfortable with that with Michkov, he's not going to be a 20-minute a night all situations player. All right. Alex G is 7th in his draft class scoring. Yeah, oh yeah, still, but yeah, he wasn't seventh in defensive stats, that's for sure. Pressure is a bigger issue than people think. The drinking, injuries, media, not easy. Many guys succeed, but others do not. He had talent and is now gone. Yeah, but he also had an overbearing dad, and he had a bad attitude, and he wouldn't listen to the coaches. Remember, they'd show the coach trying to say something to him on the bench, and he'd be, I only listen to my dad. He wasn't interested in learning and sacrificing, doing being a star in the NHL is not easy. You got to work at it, and you got to be coachable and listen to what you're taught. He didn't have interest in that. So anyway, the talent was there. Wasn't a bad pick at the time. You don't know. You don't necessarily know that they're going to be, party animals, and that's the hard part, right? You can't predict what a 17-year-old is going to do at 23. Kostitsyn was another example of that, where he liked his vodka a little too much, didn't he? And that ended up coming back to bite him. But there's one of the other few guys in the past 20 years that never really learned English was Andre Kostitsyn, right? That time the police body cam show, I know that was crazy. It's funny when Chucky was arrested saying he was going to send the Russian mob after the cops. Yeah, well, that gave you an idea. Just yeah, little nutso cuckoo, and he's with his dad too, right? And then the time with the at 5 a.m. The cops coming, and yeah, yeah, a little too wild and woolly, that man. Okay, folks. On that note, 212 in. Um, I'm gonna shut this down. 709 people viewed. Thank you very much for hanging around this long, folks. Quite a few of you were here for the whole show. And tomorrow night, I don't know if I'm having Eric on tomorrow at noon or not. I'll see. Can I beat Alex in a beer drinking contest? Hey, coffee tonight, man. No, no. I have one or two after a game, and that's it. So I think Chucky has more than one or two, and it's vodka. Maybe I could beat Chucky in a beer drinking, because Russians don't like beer as a rule. It's all about the vodka. Yeah, for sure. All right, folks, I gotta go. So tomorrow night after the game, I think I'll do a post game. We'll see you then, and thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.